I want you to imagine that maybe we're at the end of the road. The two of us. We may be buddies, but we're at the end of the road. Now, you know when you get to the end of the road, if you're here for a long time, you could end up where your mind is as sharp as a tack, but the body just isn't cutting it. And they may have us tied in a wheelchair so we don't fall out, or in a crib bed, because there's no strength in the body. It's depleted, but our mind is sharp. And so all we got to do is sit there. Wouldn't it be a terrible thing to reflect back on all those dreams we left on the table? Wouldn't it be a terrible thing to sit there and say, I wonder what would have happened if we had moved there? I wonder what would have happened if I had built that company. I wonder what would have happened, but I can't go back. If only I could go back and do it again. If I had known just how short life really is. If only. Wouldn't it be much better to sit there and relive all the big moves we made? Even the big losses would be exhilarating to relive them. Wouldn't it be wonderful to go back and relive the dreams that we conquered? Oh my goodness, I think that would be great. Well, you see, you've got a choice. And you can go crashing right through that terror barrier. Joseph Campbell said, the cave we fear to enter holds the treasure that we seek. Now, you see, you've got it within you to just say, I'm going for it. See, on the other side of the terror barrier is freedom. And you know that's what we seek? If you go to Washington, D.C. in the United States of America and go visit the Korean Wall, in honor of all the Americans that lost their life in Korea, you will see carved into granite, freedom is not free. You don't have to know how to get there, and you don't have to have a plan. Martin Luther King didn't have a plan. He said, I have a dream. You see what I'm saying? You just have to know the first step of action that's necessary. That's all you have to know. You got to have guts. And you know something? The more understanding you have, the more guts you will have. When you go crashing through that terror barrier, the fear doesn't leave, the uncomfortable doesn't leave, but through the repetition of impressing the why idea over and over and over, it eventually leaves. And you build a new paradigm. And then you start the same journey over. But you're starting it from a different place. Where you started here, now you're starting up here. And you've got all the experience. Personally, when I set a goal, if it doesn't scare the daylights out of me, I know it's no good. Now, I don't want to waste my time because I know that there's only so much. I don't know how much there is, but I want the time to count. I want to know exactly what I'm doing. I want to know exactly where I'm going. And I want every day to be an exciting adventure. Now think, how do you really want to live? Do you want to leave those dreams on the table? Is that really what you want to do? Do you want to get to the end of the road and reflect and say, damn, if only I had known? Well, now you do know. Now, it doesn't matter if anybody else knows. I know, and you and I can become connected. You don't have to let your dreams slip through your fingers. You don't have to let them lay on the table. And you know the beautiful part about it is, neither do your friends or your relatives or your kids. Do you realize when you learn this, you've got something that's transferable that you can give to their children, and the breed will just improve to no end. No one in my family ever went to school. So when I was 15 or 16, they said, are you going? No, I'm out of here. That was accepted. That was part of the paradigm. I started to study this material before any of my children were born. I didn't ask them if they were going to go. I just changed one question. Where are you going to go? Do you know something? They all went to school. Isn't that strange? It's so strange. Now you may wonder whether your friends and relatives and neighbors are going to accept you. Probably not at first. They'll think you're a little crazy. But Edison's relatives thought that. The Wright brothers thought that. Hillary's brothers and sisters thought that. I went to dinner with my sister and her husband, and my wife's sister, and Gina, and her husband, on my birthday here just 2 or 3 weeks ago. And my sister and we're very loving, but we're not really close. She's very busy running a business, and I am. My brother and I, he's in Southern California, I'm in Toronto. So although we stay in touch and, we love each other, we don't spend a lot of time together. We're very busy reaching our own goals. And Helen said, Al and I sat in Florida and we talked about you. And we talked about the change that's taken place in our family since you picked up Think and Grow Rich. And we realized none of us, our kids, no one would be living the life we're living if you hadn't gone for that goal, Bob. And she and Al had a plaque made and engraved, and they gave it to me for my 79th birthday. Said they were going to do it on my 80th, but they thought, no, we better do it now. I said, what do you think, I'm checking out? And I phoned my brother in Southern California. I was in Toronto, and I was thanking him for it. He said, yesterday was the 4th of July, Bob, and all the kids and all the grandkids and everybody was here. And I read them what was on the plaque that Helen was going to be giving you. And I told them none of them would be enjoying the life they were enjoying if you hadn't stepped out and bet on yourself. I felt so good. My sister said, my kids wouldn't be doing what they're doing. Her young daughter, Carolyn, came to seminars and she was just a little kid. And she made up her mind she wanted to be a lawyer and she wanted to be a judge. She is a Supreme Court judge in Canada today. Her son runs a multi-million-dollar business that my sister and her husband started. You have no idea who you're impacting. You have no idea how many people are watching you. They thought I was crazy. But when they saw I wasn't, they started to follow me. You go, they'll come. You've got more power in you than you'll ever use. God's gift to you is more talent and ability than you'll ever use in your lifetime. Your gift to God is to develop as much of that talent and ability as you can in this lifetime. Never let the terror barrier stop you. You go up against it and you crash right through it. That's why I'm here. I'm here to grow. Goals are not to get. Goals are to grow. The getting is just a side benefit. And remember, everything you own at the time of your death is going to belong to somebody else. You never own it, so don't ever let it own you. But don't sit back. Step out. Bet on yourself. Build that dream and go for it. Now you watch this. You watch this video. You watch all these videos you've received. You get very involved in this program that we're laying out. And you will come up with results that stick, and so will your brothers and sisters and family and friends, because they're watching you. I'll support you. The Proctor Gallagher Institute is here for one person, to help people do what we've done.